Hey guys, it's Mark with the Daily Hustle Show. Thank you again for tuning in. In the previous show, we did discuss emotional connection, how emotional connection can lead to better success in the sales industry or whatever your hustle might be. Before we go any further, please like and subscribe to the channel. If you guys have any questions, just drop them down in the comments. We'll answer them as best we can. We really greatly appreciate it. In today's show, we're gonna piggyback a little bit on emotional connection. However, we are gonna focus more on the knowing the difference between wanting and needing. Two completely different concepts, right? However, if you do not understand the difference between wanting something and needing something, how are you supposed to professionally get that out to your customer, to your client, to your prospect? You have to understand what you're discussing before you discuss it with them, right? Some people will say, you do not prepare for a fight while fighting, right? You got to prepare outside of that, right? You do not just start studying for the test on the day of the test. You study ahead of time. You get my drift. So what it comes down to is understanding the true meaning between the wanting and the needing. Simple. You need oxygen. I need oxygen. We all need oxygen, right? We're not fish, okay? So we need oxygen to live. Well, that's a necessity. There's no way around it. There's no negotiation. We need oxygen to live, right? Now, do we need, let's say, a luxury vehicle to live? Do we want a luxury vehicle to live? Some of us, right? However, that's not a need. A luxury vehicle is a want. I like to associate the word want with desire, with fantasy, because you desire that luxury car. You fantasize about that luxury car. However, why can't you just go get a regular car right now? Just go get one. You know, because that vehicle has four wheels and a steering wheel. So does that luxury car. Yes, this one might have genuine exotic leather when this car just has basic leather. I get it. But it still has four wheels and a steering wheel. So you actually do not need that luxury car. You just want it. Here's another really good example. If you're selling, let's say, we'll keep it simple. Let's say you're selling windows, right? And we know that there's different style windows. There's different materials with windows. There's vinyl. There's plastic. There's all these different styles of windows, right? And they range from price, right? From low to high. Now, do all of your clients need the highest price window for every single window in their house? Probably not. Do they want it? Probably. Right now in Massachusetts, I don't know how it is in the other parts of the country or even in the world, but right now the big fad is black framed windows. Okay, so all the window frames that you would traditionally see is white, they're black. That's the big thing, at least in Massachusetts. Again, I can't speak for the other parts of the country or the world because I'm not there right now. But I can tell you that that's a huge thing right now. It's all solid black matte windows. Well, those are the most expensive, okay, because everybody wants them. Supply and demand. Whole other conversation for a whole other show. However, people want those black windows. However, not everybody can afford the black windows. Hear what I said. A lot of people want those black windows. Want. They desire those black windows. They're thinking about those black windows, right? Now we're going to transition into emotional connection. They're emotionally connecting to those black windows and understanding what would my house look like with black windows. Oh, it's going to make the color of the siding just pop. It's going to make all the white trim on the sides of the house just really pop out and really give some straight up curb appeal. I get it. It's still a want. What they need is new windows. They do not need the most expensive window, right? Do they need that? No. They want it, but they don't need that, okay? Because at the end of the day, and I'm making these numbers up, you can have the basic $400 window. Again, I'm making that number up. You can have the basic $400 window. That's the cheapest window because all you really need are new windows. Do you need the most expensive? Maybe not. What you do need is windows. But do you need the most expensive? So you see how the word need now gets thrown in on both sides of the spectrum? I need windows, but I do not need the most expensive. Well, what's the wording that we're really trying to pay attention to there? Do I need the windows or do I need the most expensive windows? No, I just need windows. Okay, well, let's look at the options. They want the black windows, the most expensive windows, the most popular windows right now. That's what they want. However, they do not need them. So that's a brief 5-minute description of the difference of wanting and needing, okay? Not everything is going to be perfect, okay? You're going to meet clients that just want top of the line everything, and they can afford it. That's great. But you as the rep need to sit back and understand, like, look, even though they can afford the Bentley of windows, I still want to sit down and take some time with them to explain the standard windows, right? The standard options. And then I want to explain the middle options so they know that they have a variety of choices, not just the most expensive. So as we said, we have a clear understanding now of the difference of wanting and needing. You have to understand this if you're going to sit in front of a client, in front of a prospect, in front of a customer, and you have to understand their wants and needs. Now, we did a short video not too long ago, and that short video was understanding that my wants and needs are going to be different from your wants and needs, and different from that person's wants and needs, and that person's wants and needs. They're all going to be different. And that's very, very important, because what happens is this. If I walk into a dealership, right, let's just talk about, I don't know, like a Mustang, like Ford Mustang, right? If I walk into a dealership, I'm the type of person that already knows what they want. Hear the word? Want, right? Because I don't need the Mustang. I can get a regular car that's half the price because it has 4 wheels and a steering wheel. I'm choosing to get the Mustang because of financial reasons. I can afford that, and I just want it. Okay, if you're at that point in your life where you can do that and just go and get that object, so be it. So this does not pertain to those kinds of people. What this pertains to is if I choose to walk into a dealership and go into a Ford dealership and look at a Mustang, okay, I can look at that Mustang and say, wow, that's a beautiful car. I love that car. Oh, I love the color blue too. It just really makes everything pop. The 2 white racing stripes. That's the car right there. And then I get a sales rep that comes over to me and he is not a huge fan of blue. Maybe he or she likes red or black or silver, right? They do not understand that I really want that blue with 2 white racing stripes. The money isn't the obstacle. It's just talking to the right person and getting the number to where we want it and then just signing the paperwork. However, if someone comes to me, that sales rep, and says, oh, you don't want blue. Everybody's got blue. You want something that everyone doesn't have. You want something unique. You want to go with red. Well, that individual does not understand that my want is different from their want. And that's going to drive somebody like me away. No pun intended, drive away, right? It's going to drive me away. And the reason why it's going to drive me away is because they're trying to implement their ideology onto me. When in reality, everyone knows in sales, you have to be very neutral, right? If you have someone going this way, someone going this way, you've got to be somewhere in the middle and understand sometimes you're going to sway this way, sometimes you're going to sway this way, right? However, you cannot just walk into a dealership, say, I love this blue color, I love the royal blue, I love the white racing stripes, and then someone comes over and says, you don't want blue, you want red, because they like red, okay? Because they have a quota that says you need to push that red vehicle because it's been sitting on the lot for 2 months. We've got to get it out of here, okay? If a client comes and says, this is what I want, and money isn't the obstacle, it's just literally understanding the person, signing on the dotted line, and just kind of having a good experience, right? Then you should not be telling me that I should be going to red when I just told you I want blue. You understand the difference here? So that's one example that I can give you when it comes down to understanding my want and my need. Let's go back to the windows really quick. Let's say I'm the window sales rep and I'm sitting in front of a client that likes all the options, right? He's got a $10,000 option, a $15,000 option, and a $20,000 option. So 10, 15, and 20, right? Well, they've made it clear to me that they want to keep their number low. As long as they get new windows, that's all they want. Just want new windows. That's it. Okay. They told me straight up, I don't need the Taj Mahal. I just need just new windows. That's all I need. Well, if I, the sales rep, go over and say, I hear what you're saying, but these are the best windows on the market. Okay. But your client didn't tell you that. Your client says, I don't really need the Taj Mahal. I just want my house replaced with windows. That's it. I don't need the Taj Mahal. I understand that. But ma'am or sir, these are the best ones on the market. Do you see how I'm pushing what I feel the need is for that client? There's a difference of trying to give them information and give them knowledge and give them your expertise and also pushing your ideology onto them. Okay? It's not about wanting and needing at that point. You are just not listening to them. You are refusing to listen to them. Okay? Because what they're doing is telling you, this is what I want. Okay? Remember, there's 3 prices, 10, 15, and 20. Ready? A, B, C. Right? They're telling you, I want to keep the cost down and just replace them with basic windows. You're trying to push the most expensive window on them. Do you think that they're trusting you at this stage? Probably not. Any rapport or relationship or trust that you've built up to that point has now just been completely demolished. And you cannot come back from that. You cannot just start gaining this trust again, right? Once it's broken, it's broken. Someone told me back in the day, once a paper is shriveled up, it will never ever be perfectly flat again, right? You could try, but it'll never ever be perfectly flat again. Actually, now that I think about it, it could have actually been a song. So the difference of wanting and needing is also the difference of my wants and your wants, my needs and your needs, your client's needs and your needs, right? That's the difference. Now, how do we figure this out and sit in front of a client and understand the difference between wanting and needing with them on the fly? It's very simple. I'm going to show you how to do it right here. When you're selling windows, because we've been sticking to that example right now, if you are selling windows, all you have to do is just ask them what they want. Okay? They will tell you what they want. And most clients are not really up to speed with what they want either. They just know they want new windows. They might say, I would love to have those black ones. Well, listen to the words. I would love to have those. It's a desire. It's a want. It's not a need. Okay? But listen to those words, right? You have to pay attention to those words. Ask them, tell me what you're looking for. And they'll tell you it all. Okay? And anyone that's listening and watching this video that says, well, I'm a Windows salesperson, and yeah, this happens to me all the time. When I ask them, what can I do to help, or what are you guys looking for, I usually get the response of, well, I don't know. I just know I need windows. I know they're really expensive, and if you can give me a good price, I'd really appreciate it. I don't really know the process of it. I really don't know how much things cost, right? They're giving you a lot of objections at the very, very beginning. The way I would typically run with those is try to nip each one of those objections in the butt right away, okay? So if the first thing they said to you is, I don't even know how much these things cost, write it down, cost, question mark. I would love those black windows, black, question mark. I've never done this before, new client, question mark, okay? So now you can go to and say, listen, first thing I want to address here is, you mentioned you don't know how much these cost. These can range, okay, anywhere between, let's say $500 a window up to about $3,000 per window, okay? Now, knowing that, depending on the option that you choose and the material that you choose for your window, if the cheapest is $500, is that going to be within your budget to do the entire house? Now, at that point, they may say, well, yeah, if it's $500, yeah, but is that even going to be worth the money? Do I have to replace them in 6 months because they're so cheap? Then you just write in quality, because that's what they're asking you, right? You got to break all those words into one main word, which was quality. Is that going to break? Do I have to replace these in 6 months? No, your warranty is the same all the way through. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's, well, your warranty is 20 years on these. The most expensive ones, the warranty is 30 years. They may say to you, oh, we'll be moved out by then. We're not trying to be here any longer than 10 years. Now you know, okay, well, then that basic window may be an option. Okay? So you see how I kind of broke that down, where cost wasn't really much of a factor. It's just they just did not understand how it works, and they don't know the range of pricing. If you explain the range of pricing with them and then ask them directly, if we were to stay to the lower end of the spectrum here at roughly $500 a window, would you be comfortable doing your entire home? And just stare at them. They'll tell you yes or no. They go, well, I don't know. Let's just keep going. Let's see. See, I wouldn't keep going. I'd say, well, I would love to keep going with you. However, I want to make sure that we're both a fit. Okay? And I want to make sure that I do not waste your time. I'm not here to waste your time. In my experience, when we've moved on a little bit too quick, we get to the very end of the appointment and we realize that they're too expensive. When we could have actually figured that out an hour prior, 2 hours prior, and I didn't waste 2 hours of your time. So if we could actually go back to that, I would like to go back to my original question. What if we were to stay towards the lower end of the spectrum, the $500 a window? Remember, I just made this up. $500 a window. Would we be able to do the whole house with that? Now, do you see how I did it? I brought them back. I addressed their concern, told them my concern, and then brought them back into my world, where I was able to tell them, based on my experience, this is usually what happens. I do not want to waste your time. Yes, in reality, you don't want to waste your own time. However, if you tell a client, I don't want to waste my time, you might as well pack up your stuff and get out. However, if you say to them, well, I don't want to waste your time, and I've done this many, many times before, and when we get to the end, they say, well, that's expensive. Well, we tried to figure that out at the very beginning. So that's why I would like to circle back, if that's okay. If we could stay to the lower end of the spectrum, the $500 per window, would we be able to do your entire house budget-wise? At that point, they're going to either say, yes, it's doable. Okay, perfect. Now, you don't say, what's doable mean? You don't have to mirror them right then and there. It's the fact that they're saying, yes, it is a doable thing. Okay, now some people might say, well, they're probably just telling you what you want to hear to help you keep going along. We'll get into that in another show. So we're going to go into different scenarios, okay? So when it comes down to it, right, you've now nipped that objection right away. The next objection down was, I've never done this before. Well, if you've never done it before, then they don't really know what it's like. They don't know the process. It's up to you to guide them through it, right? Because you're the one driving the car, so to speak, right? You're driving that process. That process is either going to go really well or really bad for them. And guess who's the one driving? You're the one that's going to determine if it's going to go well or not. Okay, so that's how we keep that really, really simple. So far we address the cost. We address the I've never done this before, so they don't understand the process in it. Every objection that we just solved will handle 99% of your objections, because at the very end, if they say this is too expensive, well, you should have figured that out before. But if you're too quick, if a client says, well, let's just see what you have to do, what you have to offer, and we'll go from there. Oh, okay, well, let's keep going then. They just told you there's a good chance there's an issue. It might be cost, it might be product. You got to go back to that, okay? And you have to make sure you address that. So as you keep going, you do not waste your time or theirs, okay? Again, the difference of wanting and needing. They want new windows in the house. They do not need the most expensive. They just want the new windows. I've never done this before. Completely understand. Most of my clients have never been through this process before. However, it's very simple. The windows usually start around $500 each, depending on what material you want, and they can range up to about $3,000 a piece. Again, I don't know those numbers to be true. They're just examples, okay? And then the client at that point, when you say to them, if we were to stay towards the lower end of the budget point per window, would we be able to do the entire house? And if they say, no, absolutely. Yeah, that's not a factor. Okay, cool. Move on. If they say, I don't know, I was really hoping it was going to be a lot cheaper. I mean, we have 20 windows. If we're paying $500, we're paying $10,000 for windows, which I know is probably really low, especially here in Massachusetts, how much they cost. But my point of bringing this up to you guys is that you're going to flush out all those objections at the very beginning, because you're explaining to them the difference of wanting and needing without using the words want and need, okay? You're asking them, if we were to stay towards the lower end of the spectrum, will we be able to do this entire home? Oh, yes, we would. Okay. Well, that's the need right there. The need is I need to stick to this lower end of the spectrum, not waste their time with 3,000 each window idea, right? They need the lower end of the spectrum, okay? They thought it was going to be significantly higher, significantly lower. However, they told you, I need windows, so you have to focus on that. They might want the state-of-the-art, what did I say, $3,000 each window. They might want that. However, they don't need that. They just need new windows. They want basic windows. So you have to understand that even if you are the person that wants to always push the most expensive, that's your prerogative. However, your need and want is different from that client's need or want. You might run into somebody else in 3 hours that's like, listen, I buy top of the line. As long as you're respectful in my home, or you're respectful to the family, you're respectful to my bosses or whoever you're dealing with, you're going to be just fine. All right, I base everything on gut feeling. All right, perfect. Well, let's start from the very beginning then. Go through it. Your wants and needs are not their wants and needs. Remember, you want the deal to close. They do not want to feel sold. Okay, so you want that deal to be sold, right? Because you're going to make money on it. However, their want and need is different. They want windows. They need windows. Well, what kind of windows are we talking about here? I was going to say, which windows do you need? Oh, well, just basic replacements of what I have. I mean, I've had these for 20-something years. I mean, just basic. Okay, perfect. So what we're really looking at is just some basic windows that's usually on the lower end of the price spectrum. And then we're going to make our way into the more expensive options. Would that be okay if I show you all of them, and then it's just easier to make a more informed decision? They can say, yes, absolutely. Guys, knowing the difference between wanting and needing is so, so very important, okay? I've given you multiple examples in the last 20 or so minutes where you're going to want and need something, right? Your want and need is different from your client, your prospect, your customer's wants and needs. Understand it first before you go and sit in front of a clients, prospects, customers, whatever you want to call them. Understand the difference of wanting and needing right off the bat before you decide you're going to go sit in front of them and tell them what the want and need is. Remember, their want and their need is different from your want and your need. Okay, that's the biggest thing. And if you can just stay neutral, that's the best thing that you can do. Again, guys, this is Mark with the Daily Hustle Show. Thanks for listening. Please like, please subscribe. We're releasing videos as much as possible, typically about 3 or 4 a week. We want to really get everything out there and really help people that are struggling in sales and their own hustle. There's a lot of sales gurus out there with all these fancy schmancy, I'll put a link right up here, right? We're not doing that, okay? I want it set up where it's like you and I are on the other side of the table from each other, just having a discussion, and I'm just kind of coaching you through the process. Emotional Connection was the first video that we did. People loved it. This video is about understanding the clear difference between wanting and needing. The next video, we're going to dive in a little bit further when it comes down to sales and rapport, trust, relationship, because the emotional connection, understanding wants and needs all correlate with developing rapport and relationships and trust with your clients, especially long-term clients. Guys, thanks again. Please do not forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.